and your best friend. Yes, so exactly. Does the cap fit? Because it is only the person that the cap fits that can actually wear it. Well, the cap is presently on the head of Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, but
That's
yeah,
presently.
that's what I'm saying. It's actually on his head right now, and some people believe that we should change the head and then put it on someone's, put a cap on somebody's head. While others believe that no, all you need to do is to change the cap and let the head remain. What are we talking about? We're talking about the 2019 elections. Like I mentioned earlier, at the National Executive Council meeting of the All Progressives Congress APC in Abuja, the president shocked his party members, especially the NEC members who did not expect it, that Mr. President was going to make that shock announcement. It has always been whispered in the corridors, and of course, it's been hush hush as regards his re-election plans. Actually, some were of the opinion that Mr. President won't seek re-election, going by the so much furore that his performance has actually generated. Some are also of the opinion that the pressure that has been mounted by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, especially through the letter and the reactions that generated, would at least cow Mr. President from declaring his re-election bid. Don't forget that former head of state, General Ibrahim Babangida, also wrote a letter. Uh, when you consider all these things, people feel that these are pointers to the fact that a large section of the country actually opposed to the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari. But there are a group of people who hear nothing of this because they believe that Mr. President has done comfortably well, relatively well, to actually get re-elected, considering the rods he met when he came into power. And they are of the opinion that it is just too early for you to begin to judge Mr. President. Less than 4 years, and you're beginning to call for his head and say, hey, chop his head off and let him get out of the office in Asoro. Considering the fact that he was also challenged health-wise. So when you look at all these arguments, left, right, and center, you begin to ask yourself, who then should wear the cap in 2019 if you say Mr. President has not done enough, or he should not run, or he should be voted out? Who is the better alternative? That's another conversation that is going on. Should the PDP then be brought back to power? If you have said that the PDP bastardized the country, misruled the country for 16 years, you voted in change, you are now tired of the change and you're trying to bring the PDP. Is it a third force? So who is the face of the third force? All right, who is better than the incumbent? You now see that the conversation will start getting interesting because that will throw up a lot of questions, a lot of reflections, a lot of inflections, and then of course we might be able to arrive at a favorable conclusion that will all go well for the people and the nation. That is what we're looking at this morning on the show. We have two gentlemen joining us in the discussion. We have first in the studio, a friend of the house, a very, very regular caller on the show, a social critic and a public commentator in the person of Dr. Ebenezer Nkom. You're welcome, Dr. Nkom.
Thank you, Tobi.
You're welcome. And Tobi, don't also forget, in Buhari's words, he said, I will not run more than once.
Well, I don't know
So
where
when
you
he
get. I don't know where you got that, Chienye. Buhari didn't say that. I think what the presidency has said recently is that he was misquoted. That he didn't say he was going to run once, especially in 2015. That particular headline, you're right in saying that headline. That headline was used in 2007 when he was trying to get the presidency on the platform of the ANPP, I think. He ran on the platform of ANPP before he left for CPC in 2011. Uh, Dr. Nkom. And of course, the second guest will join us shortly. Uh, that's the chairman of the Labour Party in Ogun State, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. But let's start with Dr. Nkom. Of course, let me first find out from you, Dr. Nkom, how you felt when you heard when the news broke that Mr. President announced his re-election bid.
Good morning, listeners. My name still remains Dr. Nkom. Well, Toby, I first saw it in a flash in Al Jazeera. Generally, such heavy duty news items, if it's Nigerian media, I don't give currency to it. But when I saw it Al Jazeera, President declares, wow, this is it. I was excited and I was very, very excited. And then it portended good things to come for the Nigerian system. I was happy that the ruling party is decisive, although they have not put him up yet as their presidential candidate, but he has declared his intention. And this shows seriousness, and it shows people who are going to do, they may have made mistakes in the first stanza. That shows that they are prepared now, if they were not prepared earlier on for the next fight. I won't call it a fight, the next stanza. And President Muhammadu Buhari is a man I have so much respect for. People have been talking of his ill, his this, and all that. We are aware. Nobody can tell us what is wrong with him. What we heard from some people said they had pictures of him in a drip stand, going to the mortuary, and don't know whether it was his picture or it's a clone of his. We have not seen it. Nobody has told us what is wrong with him. And if the president was that ill, which needed that, I'm sure he's a man of integrity. He's transparent. He would have said, "I'm not going back," and I have implicit confidence in his decision. I'm sure during the course of this discourse, we're going to be having all sorts of people coming out with this thing. Oh, he has prostate cancer. Oh, he cannot hear. Oh, he has eye cancer. Oh, he has cancer of the toe. Oh, he has cancer of the blood. All sorts of things. Perhaps emanating from Cambridge Analytica, which I'm sure we're going to discuss in the course of this thing. Those are the people who fed us with truth, have truth, misinformed us. Cambridge Analytica. People who don't know what it means, please look it up before you phone in. Cambridge Analytica, they used them. It is there. The Guardian of London has said that they used to misinform us about Buhari's health. And I wonder why Nigerians are not talking about it. So, but that's another topic for another day. But if the man was sick, he won't come back. What does he want?
Okay, now that you've talked about his health,
Yes.
And medical records.
Yes.
So we don't have the facts.
Yes.
Just like you said,
Yes.
whatever it's out there in the public domain is in the area of conjecture and speculation.
Absolutely.
As it were. But one thing that is very sure and sacrosanct is Mr. President spent more than 150 days outside the shores of the country for medical attention. When he came back, he granted an interview and said he has never been that sick in his entire life. And then for the first time, he had to get blood transfusion.
Yes.
That shows that there was something wrong with his health.
Yes.
And then the remarkable recovery,
Yes.
going just like you alluded to, people felt he was. Even people felt he was going to die.
Yes.
On the throne. No?
Some people say he died.
Yeah, some people said it's a Jubril from Sudan.
Sudan.
There. You know, that shows that there's something wrong with the president health-wise. But he's recovered now. He's traveling very soon. Some are already saying he's trying to go and see his doctor. He's trying to check up and see whether there are no complications after surgery. Is that enough reason for us to say, hey, Mr. President, just leave the stage, go and take care of
No, Toby. One, to start, he never had any surgery. There's no record that he had surgery. If he is back in London for checkup, there's so many of my patients who come back and see me after 2-3 years, 2 weeks, 1 week. It's standard medical procedure. Oh, I've treated you. come back and see me in 2 weeks. What is wrong about that? That does not show anything. That has nothing to do with medical condition. If you have malaria and I treat you and I tell you take this, come back and see me in 2 weeks, doesn't mean that you see you have a malaria. Does that mean you're incapacitated? Does that mean you cannot travel to see your in-laws in Meduguri or where? No, the answer is no. We don't know his medical condition. It's never been disclosed. And anything we hear outside is disinformation. Two is that he is a man of integrity. If he knew he won't be able to carry out the mantle of leadership, he will quietly. I don't know him in person, but I know his body language. He's not a man who is frivolous. Most of the things happening around is people is what you call is teaching cabinet who are giving conflicting information. But he is a straightforward man. If he sees something, if he does something wrong, he will come out and tell you, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see." That is a hallmark of the type of president we want in this country. So, Toby, going to London and all that, we all go to London now and say, so what is the meaning of that? So because Buhari has gone to London, so he's sick. Or Buhari has gone to see the doctor, and so what? But you can see him. He's walking around, visiting states, attending parties, and then some areas he cannot attend because of security implications. He told them to go. But generally, see him. He was in Lagos in the colloquium. You saw him. What he said. Is that a man who is sick and incapacitated? Some of us who are less than 70 cannot even stand like that as he did. So what are we talking about? What is all this? This thing? Is he going to come and run a marathon race? No president is allowed to run a marathon race. Anyway, you must have what you need are very good lieutenants and who will carry out what you're supposed to do.
Okay, Dr. Nkom, does he stand a chance or a better chance come 2019?
Chienye, there's no vacancy in Asoro. I'm very blunt. I don't have. There's no vacancy in Asoro.
Okay, let's also look at his age now.
Yes.
Would that be a barrier to knock him out?
No, no. I don't even need to think about it. Trump is about 73. Trump is still bouncing about. And we have been hearing of his escapades, even in the media, which even young men cannot even attempt of doing. Trump is enjoying himself all over the place. That is number one. In fact, his doctor came out to say he has a heart disease and all that, but he's still walking about. At that level, we are not thinking of marathon race. We are not talking of sprints. In fact, there's everything except your beck and call. If you need good advisors, you appoint them. They will tell you what to do. You don't need to think too much. But the final decision on your table. So I don't see age being a problem. If you look at most of the leaders in the Western world, Angela Merkel is what? She's about 60 something, getting to 70. Most of these things are not young men. But that is not the point. Is the man standing up upstairs? Absolutely yes. That is what is the point they're making. Can he do a good job? I believe that he can do a good job. He has started a good job. I think he should be allowed to finish it.
Now, you made a point earlier that sometimes what you need is just a man with the character and integrity to deliver at the helm of affairs, and then you have able and, of course, dependable lieutenants who can actually carry out your bidding and then drive your vision. Now, would you say that Mr. President can boast of this able, dependable, upright, and men of integrity as lieutenants?
There's a deficit there, Toby. There's a deficit. We have seen a lot of lapses which shouldn't have happened. So we have these mistakes, we have these errors. And as a South African poet said, if you are not making mistakes, it means you are not doing anything. People don't make mistakes and people have not attempted any endeavors. So we expect to be those lapses. But the important thing is that if you have the lapses, do you correct it? The issue is not falling. Did you stand up? Did you stand up at the right time? Did you stand up well? That is the issue. And I think Nigeria is filled up with people. He may have made errors in the appointment of some of his lieutenants, kitchen cabinet earlier on. But I think that as we are seeing now, the thing is changing. Even the world democracy, Donald Trump is changing. He has changed the national security advisor 3 times now, not up to a year. 3 times. That means that there was an error, he saw something, a mistake. So what is it? I don't see anything wrong in that. It's for him to come and say, oh, I don't want these people again. I don't want this one. I want A, B, C. Especially his ministers. Some of his ministers are a clog in the wheel of progress. These are the things we are talking of. Of course it happens all the time. They are not saints. He wouldn't have known all of them to be. So that is the issue.
Now, let us look at the three critical areas that Mr. President campaigned on, and that brought him to power. The first is anti-corruption stance or agenda.
Yes.
One. Then the second is security.
Yes.
Security of lives and property.
Yes.
He was very, very clear as regards how he was going to go about fighting the Boko Haram war, anti-kidnapping, and of course so many other criminal elements in the country. Then 3 was reviving the economy to create jobs for the teeming youth population, the underemployed, and of course the unemployed. These 3 are the critical areas. So many other promises were made by the APC, by the campaign organization, but Mr. President kept saying, these are my 3 priority. This is what is on my own agenda. Let's begin to score Mr. President on these 3 points. First, anti-corruption.
Anti-corruption. We have, in fact, I think that is where he has scored highest. The move. People think of, if it's anti-corruption, that all the people we perceive to be corrupt, all of them will be packed into jail and perhaps shot in parents' squad. No, you don't do that. If you have anti-corruption, in the anti-corruption fight, you must use the law, the laws of the land. If you have not offended any law, then you've not done anything. But the bit we can see now, look at what has happened, the names, the list. We were saying publish the list. I remember in this studio, somebody said you must publish the list. The president has failed by not publishing the list. The man has published the list. What are we saying? That is number one. I'll score him there about 75%. Fighting corruption. People don't know what corruption is to fight. Look, if a man is stealing 5 million naira every month from the economy, and you want to fight him, you want him to lose that 5 million naira, you have killed the man. You killed the man. So the man is prepared to use 4 million every day to fight you, to sustain a status. That is number one. Security. We used to have something like Niger Delta Avengers. We used to have something like blowing pipes every second. That has stopped. Can't we give him credit for that? The Boko Haram, he never said that he has completely eliminated Boko Haram. He said we have degraded Boko Haram, and we are hoping that they may not have the power to stage major attacks. Yes, there are one of the Dachi girls, and which other one again? Yes, it has happened. Well, has he scored there? No, low there, because it shouldn't have happened. So I score him low there. But despite that, I'll still give him about 50%, because at least we have quietness in the southern part of this country. We have quietness in such that we can have our oil export, which is our lifeblood. We have quietness down there. We have quietness in the west. We are not seeing a lot of those things happening again, major issues and all that. It's only the Boko Haram issue, which is very, very complex. Terrorism is so difficult. Very, very, especially if it is not homegrown terrorism. What we are fighting, I suspect, is not homegrown terrorism. What we are fighting is international terrorism, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, what do you call them in the Sahel and all that. Those are the people, and they believe that Nigeria is a stronghold. If you can destabilize Nigeria, then you have destabilized West Africa. For that, I will score him a bit low on that. Reviving the economy. Tobi, the economy went into recession 2014. A lot of us didn't know. Okonjo-Iweala was shouting, but this thing was muffled. Despite the downturn, they could still bring Nigeria out of a recession. Even the international community is applauding them for that. We should give them yes. You see, we are our own foreign exchange now. What you call foreign exchange reserve now is getting up to about $50 billion. It never happened. Even when oil was $20 per barrel. But despite this, it's still shoring up. People are saying, what is the point of having foreign exchange? We are not saying it, we are not feeling it, we are not eating this one. I'm saying that, look, if that one collapses, then you will not even see anything again. We buy oil from there, all the import licenses or what you call it, or even importers and all that. Because of that, they have confidence in us and they can. So to me is something we should. I give you about 80% in the economy. Don't forget about that. The TSA was introduced by the PDP regime, by Jonathan's regime, but TSA. and then the what they call IPPIS.
Yeah.
Yes, which federal civil servants are aware of. Tobi, to put your name in the IPPIS is Herculean because the accountant general has to sign one by one. They did that all in an attempt to prevent fraud. When Buhari came in, they still found about 33,000 names. 33,000 names in this IPPIS. That means it was built in there by, as far as I'm concerned, the governments at that point in time. Whether it was PDP or whatever, is that the issue. But the government in time, 33. See, Tobi, people don't know what it means. It means that Tobi, you stay at home, every month and the alert will come. You don't need to work. That is what they were doing. The man has stopped that. If the man has stopped 33,000 people from benefiting, looting our economy, do you think they're going to be happy? To start with, we will have 33,000 primary people to deal with, to contend with. 33, we have about 5 dependents. 33 times 5, we are talking of about getting up to 1 million people who are going to be unhappy with this regime. So when you see a Kakoni of forces, the man not do anything, the man is this, 33,000 times 5, multiply that, and that's the reason why he's having this problem. But to that, in the economy, I give you about 70%.
All right, good. We now have, we now turn to the other side and have Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. First, Comrade Arabambi, tell us why exactly is a section of the country not happy with the re-election declaration of Mr. President?
Thank you very much. Not just even a very small section, but let me say 80 to 90% of Nigerians doesn't want the president to come back. And our reason is not far-fetched. The president himself said old age, will affect him, and there's little he can do at 72. That was, when he got elected in 2015. By himself, because I heard when I was coming, during the acceptance speech, we can Google it, when he won the presidential primaries of APC, he said he's going to go for 1 term. You can Google so that all of us we are going to back up whatever we are saying with fact. He said he's going to go for 1 term by himself, that he will not seek election beyond 2019. Another thing is that, you see, the president is being controlled by cabal, in the APC, and that is why we have a lot of issues and economic downturn. We have a lot of poverty, hunger, wars, economic recession, the attribute of this APC government, and that is why it is very, very unfair for the president to say they want to come back, in 2019, because a lot is happening in Nigeria now that is not palatable.
Comrade Arabambi, hold on. You've said that a lot of things are happening that is not palatable,
yeah,
and that is why people don't want him back. Where all these things manifest when the APC government or the Buhari government were not in power? Is it that there was no hunger in the land when PDP was holding sway in Aso Rock? Is it that there was no unemployment when they were there? Is it that there was no death in the education sector? Or the structures in the health institutions are not dilapidated?
Yeah. During the PDP era, I'm not a member of PDP, but we must, back up our statement with fact. How much was being sold when Jonathan was in government, and how much of it being sold now? The promises, a lot of things they are going to do, 3 million jobs, but today, you and I are not member of MBS that says we are losing 3 million jobs every year. So if a government made Nigeria to lose 12 million jobs in 4 years, that government still want to continue so that we are going to have 24 million Nigerians out of job. Are we members of NBC board here? I mean, this is the federal government agency that said we are losing 3 million, but this was what they promised us when they were coming to government. That should not be, put at the doorstep of former President Goodluck Jonathan. That's number one. Number two, all of us know that this administration has also, because I heard Dr. Nkom saying President Buhari has integrity. Yes, but about the looters list that I met him discussing, a court actually ordered them. Even Serap went to court. They got a leave of the court to compel the president to publish, the looter list, but they refused. And this government has disobeyed so many court orders that I am going to list them here with fact, because I'm somebody that loves the rule of law. But this government has been disobeying a law of the land. Number 3, how much has this government borrowed? How much did PDP borrow? Over 11 trillion, and they only use it for, to develop infrastructure. But the most annoying thing presently is even his request for 4.3 trillion before the National Assembly. I think it was April 1 or 2nd that he presented it, where in the current expenditure, you are asking National Assembly to approve 4.3 trillion for the current expenditure, which is even against the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007, which is against the Procurement Act of 2007, and yet the president is, placed that before the National Assembly to go and borrow money for the current expenditure. What the hell is the current expenditure? How do you intend to pay that money back? You said you wanted bond and promissory note to contractors, and the one that actually catches my attention is the refund of money. They said some state, also requested, because we're still going to talk on that here today, because I understood that some states also make requests for refund on project done for federal government. That is wrong.
Now, Comrade Arabambi, you made a point. Let me quickly ask you. You are alluding to the fact that things have now gone so much worse for Nigerians than when the PDP was in power. Now, you asked how much was the bag of rice in 2015 when it came to power. How much is it now? How much was the dollar to the naira when he came into power? How much is it now? Can I also ask you, if that is the line of argument you are pushing forward, how much was a bag of rice in 1999 when the PDP came into power, and how much did they leave it when they left power in 2015? How much was a bag? How much was dollar to the naira in 1999 when the PDP came into power, and how much did they leave it in 2015?
Now, PDP started with President Olusegun Obasanjo, the Emperor of Ogun. Between that time and when they left government, the successive government, let us even talk about the price of petrol. All the 16 years they left that petrol at 87 naira. 16 years of PDP, they left that petrol at
no, that's not correct. Because
87.
No, it's not correct. President Goodluck Jonathan increased the price of it. Don't forget.
And also did what?
The 2012
he reversed it again.
But did not come back to the initial price.
Is it?
It did not come back to the initial price that it was.
No.
We were buying fuel for, is my memory failing me? We were buying fuel for, was it 60 naira or 75 naira? No,
that's what I'm saying. I said PDP left fuel at 87 naira per litre.
Okay.
But when
2015.
Yes, but when this government came on board, let me tell you, I think the error they made was when they keep accusing PDP.
Yes.
They took all those spent forces in PDP to go and reinvigorate their own party. And that is why APC cannot be free of corruption. That is one. Now, the bag of rice and bag of cement, the inflation rate as at that time, PDP were able to, to curtail it. But with the present administration, the president being controlled by Kaba, and that's why we have a lot of economic somersault. Policy flip-flop, and they were not able to stand by, whatever the president want to do. Now, look at the dollar. There was a time this administration said, custom, place a peg on some of these products.
Yes.
We don't want it to come into Nigeria. Yes. Why will a vehicle you imported to Cotonou, the public government will ask you to pay just 250 naira, at the border. Sorry, at the border. Custom will collect 250 naira from you at the border. But when you take it to Lagos, they will ask you to come and pay 900,000 naira. So, which custom is controlling our land border? Which custom is controlling? Which government is controlling the custom and land border? Which custom is controlling the one, at our port? And that's why you see, dearth of, resources and people that want to do business. You see them going to Cotonou so that they will now go through the land border, pay for the duty, and they will bring the vehicle in. Now, as for the price of bag, the price of bag 6,000. But at the end of the day, the something just revolve around 6,000, 5,000. At the end of the day, they left at 7,000. But when this government came, the decision everything concerning local content.
What is the price of bag now? Price of rice, a bag of rice. Do you know the price? You don't know. You go
14,
to the market.
14.
No, if you get to late rice is 6,500.
No,
I'm telling you.
It's 40,000.
Yes, I'm coming.
I bought
check. Yes.
I bought for a program.
Metro rice, yes. Metro rice. Go and ask for the price.
No, there's nothing like Metro rice.
Yes, I'm coming. Go and look at it. Why is it? You see,
no, there's nothing like Metro rice.
Tobi is the. I'm not here to defend APC. We are discussing very issues we can. I'm not here to muddy the water because that's what my friend is doing. Muddy the water on the side from Labour Party. That's what we are discussing. What we are saying is this: that should Buhari come back? I say yes. Why? I'm giving you the reason. If you are talking of bag of rice, do this one, the exchange rate and what have you. The exchange rate we had during the PDP regime was an artificial exchange rate. It didn't show anything. What did we produce at that time? Oil only. And they were propping up with the external reserve. That is why at a point in time, there was no letter of credit open for anybody. Because of the PDP. I'm coming. That's what happened. No, I'm coming. That's what happened. I'm coming.
Can you mention 3 projects in Southwest, Southeast, South, North Central, Northeast, completed by this administration?
I will tell you. No, can I answer that question? Please let me answer it quickly. Yes. Because that is the thing.
You said nobody opened
PDP spent 16 years and had some very shabby.
And they did very well.
And then APC has only 2 years. And you expect, can you build a house in 2 years?
But Comrade Arabambi, you said it.
Can you build a house in 2 years?
You can't even in 6 months. Because former Governor Batala said a serious government will provide that for Nigeria in 6 months. So why the twist? Are we lying?
Can we stick to one point? Can we stick to the point?
APC government is incompetent.
We are not here.
They are incompetent.
So they should be sacked. They should be sacked.
They should be sacked by Nigeria. The voters should vote them out. So that is.
I'm voting Labour Party, which has never won any Senate. Labour Party has never won a local government. And they are talking of party. Those are
local government
party. Labour Party is the type of thing we don't even discuss it because those are dead parties. We talk of APC and PDP, please, for goodness sake. We are not discussing Labour. Labour has nothing to show, so we cannot criticize them. They have nothing to show. Apart from people appearing, yes.
You only have one voters card.
Yes.
I think you should leave that to 2019.
Yes.
Whether Labour Party existed or not.
Okay, now let us do this. We have critical sectors that we actually.
This I want to answer him. During the last PDP regime, we shut down universities for 6 months. University was shut down. While the university was shut down, the Minister of Education was having a Zonto dancing as Zonto doing his birthday. We all know about this one. Nobody talked about it.
No, when the Deputy was kidnapped, your governor was busy addressing the president for second time.
We are not doing rough.
No, I said when the
when you were talking, I was not talking. I kept quiet. Let me finish.
Your governor was addressing the president for second time.
Hold on, Comrade Arabambi.
We are not fighting APC man. We are fighting a common man in the street. Two.
No, you are not a common man in the street.
Number two, that's education. That's what happened. What has happened to education?
Yes.
APC or Buhari came into the rot which was left. Yes. Two, we are talking of health. Bola Ige died because what? A sitting Attorney General. Why did he die? Apart from what happened was that the hospitals were shut down. That was why Bola Ige died. If the hospitals were working, Bola Ige perhaps would still be allowed to talk to them. Why are we not talking about that? Also come and talk about health.
Hospital was shut down.
Yes. I'm a doctor, so don't come to that one. No, that's why he died in UCH. Because the hospital was shut down. Because of the mismanagement of a PDP at that time. Okay. Bola Ige died. And nobody, you don't seem to be talking about that one. Are we talking about that one? We had Ebola here in this country. If not for APC people, we could have been finished.
Okay.
Thank God. Can I continue?
No, hold on.
He's talking about wars. I don't know which wars he's fighting. Is it Boko Haram we are fighting wars? Is that what he said? There are wars all over. I don't know which one he's talking about. There's no war.
There is war in Nigeria.
Where is the war?
We'll come back to.
Where is the war?
We'll come back to the issue of Boko Haram.
Yes.
And the failure of that you also talked about of the president as regards prevented the Dapchi school kidnap.
Yes.
Comrade Arabambi, let us look at this issue step by step. All right, no need to get too emotional. Now, let's start with 3 sectors that we are scoring President Buhari on. First, he talked about anti-corruption. He promised to fight corruption and attempt to stamp it out of Nigeria. That is one. Second is security of lives and property. Then 3, revive the Nigeria's economy and create jobs as a result of that. Let's start with the first sector. I want you to give us your own analysis and assessment.
I am very sure Dr. Nkom will agree with me that anti-corruption has always been one-sided in this administration. It was in the administration that you have a lot of snakes and monkeys, swallowing our money and nothing comes out of it in this country. It was in this country that when you cross from any party to APC, We have it. How many of our senators in Labour Party that are even crossed? I mean, Oji Usokalu is there. Former governor of Rivers State, they are there. When they cross, EFCC have cases with most of these people. But the moment they cross, they became Saint Buhari Usokalu. They will become Saint, Buhari Amishi. They will become Saint this and their name, and nothing will know what happened to them. I am shocked that Usokalu, that the EFCC preferred, a lot of corruption charges again. Is the one championing the election of President Muhammadu Buhari. We even saw them, taking, pictures. So what have we saw? Is that anti-corruption? That's not anti-corruption.
Yes.
It is just a corruption that they want to fight
against the opposition.
They want to muzzle the opposition. They don't want opposition to talk. They want to harass opposition so that so that we will not be able to talk.
Yes.
In this government, we have seen computerized cutting of grass. We have seen it by this administration. What has happened?
Well, that was linked about.
Yes. What happened to
exit now?
No, it was not the exit.
That would have happened to PDP.
It happened.
It would have happened.
So what happened to him when he was left? He's busy graduating Abuja, attending night parties, and yet with our money that a man awarded a contract to himself, as official of APC. That is why he was sacked with what? But if it is PDP, I can assure you, they will bundle them even when they are sick. They will bundle them as if like somebody that fed out from the
PDP regime.
The president will have ordered the general police. The president will have ordered chief of army staff to bring all their frigates and be looking for the person.
Comrade Arabambi, you said earlier that the federal government or the president was taken to court, dragged to court practically, to release Luther's list if they are sincere.
And they released it.
They did not release it then. They don't. Let me tell you what they
released it.
No. Who are the two things happened? Number one, in July last year, it was Sheriff that got judgment in Lagos. When they refused to comply, they met with the Attorney General and the Vice President. They said they wanted to look at whether they are going to be any litigation. They did not. Sheriff went back to court, and the court granted them leave to compel the government to release that name. That was in January.
They were compiling the list then.
No, they were compiling. But it was because PDP now came out to accuse them, that APC is an association of looters. But what did our honorable minister did? He now released those names and they excluded their own, from APC.
All right, we'll get more time to look at this issue. We have to go to break now for the national news at 10. After the national news, we'll still have in the studio two gentlemen, Dr Ebenezer Nkom, a social critic and commentator, and of course the chairman of Labour Party in Ogun State, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. It's still Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show. This very full Wednesday morning, the 11th day in the month of April 2018. Yes, we have two gentlemen in the studio. First, on my left is Dr. Ebenezer Nkom, a regular caller here and a social critic and commentator. And then we have the chairman of the Labour Party in Ogun State, Comrade Arabambi Abayomi. Together, we are looking at the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari. The president has come out in the open now, and he has launched his re-election bid. Nigerians are divided. Some have given their knocks, some have given their kudos, and we are looking at this. What exactly do you think about the re-election declaration of Mr. President? Keep sending your messages to 32120. We'll do justice to them shortly, but make sure you type ROCK before you type your message. Include your name and send to 32120. Our social media platforms are also available. You can reach out to us on Facebook, Rock City FM 11.9, and of course our Twitter handle remains at Rock City FM. But make sure that your contributions are devoid of insults. Don't come up with claims you cannot substantiate. Before we throw open the studio lines, I think we left one question hanging. Am I correct? I think we left one question hanging. I will just quickly allow Comrade Arabambi to quickly look into that.
Yeah, the question is about the anti-corruption.
The looters list.
The looter list.
Yes.
So I said, as far as looter list is concerned, twice Serap has dragged this government to court. They got judgment in July. I am stating that with fact. It can be googled. Then in January also, they got the leave of court to compel the president, which the answer they got from the government was that they are looking at possible litigations. So until when PDP came hard on them because of this, re-election and an attempt to seize power from APC, that made APC government to disobey court judgment twice, only for them now to obey PDP, who was all over them because they knew they wanted to unseat them, and they now went ahead to publish, the name of only PDP as looters. Whereas we have litany of looters in APC, even more than, during the PDP administration. That was what we learned. The question, that was not answered before, your session went on break. So why would a government who claim to be fighting corruption, do it one-sided? You publish name of PDP and you let yours unattended to, and we have a lot of them now that are now saying APC the moment they cross. I made mention of Ojo Okano, the former governor of Abia State, is now even the one. How can such a person now be in charge, of championing the election of, Mr. President, compelling people that there should be peace in Nigeria, when himself is a looter? His name was omitted. All of us knew the governor of Rivers, Wike, told us how much was stolen between just 2 months to president election in River under Amechi. But what President Buhari told them was that which court found him guilty? How many courts find all those PDP guilty that you now change them even on their sickbed? We have seen it that even the court will compare PDP people. Oh, you want to travel out, you cannot travel out. Come to court. Come and answer cases of corruption. But all their own, they were all just roaming the street. Look at the house in Ikoyi. We even wrote to yesterday that time that they should tell us the owner of the house. But up to today, they were telling us this was how much we found, this was how much we found. In Kaduna, we were told how they found so number of millions in stock. An airport that has CCTV camera out today, nobody was able to tell us. But they knew that they are looters, even more than the PDP in their government. But because they thought we can be hoodwinked, we can be deceived, they now publish the name of PDP as looter. And who is even a looter? Who confirmed them as looter? Who confirmed them as looter? When you suspect somebody, you understand, that person is presumed to be innocent. But look at the Honorable Minister of Information in APC confirming them as looter. Who passed that judgment? And it was this government that has been refusing to obey judgment of court. And I will tell you at least 3 or 4 people.
Can I just walk back to comment? Let me just make one comment, Tobi. It looks as if Comrade Arabambi knows the list. Maybe they are aware of the list because it says they only remove the PDP, APC, PDP list. That means he knows the PDP people who are.
We saw APC. We saw it on media. We saw it in the paper.
No. What I'm saying is that you know the list. The way you're talking that they have only released the rogues in PDP, not the rogues in APC. It means that you have the list. That to me, that's not the issue. 2, court orders. Please go
back to the question. Yeah, I said APC were excluded. APC members were excluded.
I'm coming to that. We are talking of APC names being included. It means that you must have known that the names were there and were removed. You were privy to that list, which is not true. And what we have said is that even if you look at this list, this PDP, so-called PDP list, Panika Ade come and say, yes, I took it. The other one say, yes, I took it. What are we talking about? Must we democratize corruption? We are not democratizing corruption. The people, they wrote their names. None of them has come out to say, I didn't steal. They say, yes, you stole it. I'm coming.
Dr. Raymond Dokpesi has come to court. Oh. No, you said nobody. You said nobody came out. It's on record that Dr. Dokpesi has gone to court.
Yes, he has gone to court.
Uche Secondus has gone to court. And you said nobody.
I'm coming. Uche Secondus was the person who was begging for plea bargaining before. Tell. So I don't know what he was plea bargaining for. That was the man who said, I have 40 million. I remember. He was doing plea bargaining. He will return. The brothers and sisters said they are going to return. So he's now going to court. Very good. But that's what I say. All of them are now saying, okay, 2. The other ones have kept quiet because they know. What are we talking of? What we are interested in is that return this money so we can use it to boost our economy. It doesn't matter whether you're APC, Labour, or whatever. Take that list, as far as I'm concerned, the list of Nigerians. I'm coming. He's a Nigerian.
And the Minister of State for Petroleum. What happened to the money?
No, I'm coming to that.
You people say it's a family affair.
No.
Equation of Nigeria.
No, we are looking for people to return Nigerians' money so we can pay pension, salary, and deduction. I'm coming to that.
The one with APC money. The one you said about is APC money.
But these are not claims that have been substantiated.
Okay, exactly. I know who substantiated the one they published. It was them.
Law.
Which
the court of competent judiciary.
None of them have been found guilty.
Two. One is that
none of them.
Okay, let me come. For example, let me
even make this.
They say I collected that money. Do we have to go to court about that?
Okay, there are some things I want us to streamline here.
Yes.
Tobi, if they didn't give you any money here, you understand? It is not your duty to know whether your director. I'm coming. Whether your director approve. No, I'm coming. They were all this establishment. Whether it's your director. So when they are asking, how money this 1 million, go missing, and somebody now said, Tobi, you are a looter. You are not a looter.
You can get stolen goods.
Now, today, this man was arrested. Dasuki was arrested.
Yes.
But 5 judgment and said, please present this man in court. Is he, and the head of a warlord in Nigeria, that you people refuse to release him? Now, in your own case, everybody now run to you. Now, let me tell you, APC member in this administration, you are no more than 15%. Your administration is, surrounded by PDP. Your administration is surrounded by PDP, and you are still blaming PDP that
the lines are buzzing already. Let's just go straight to the contributions.
Thank you very much. Yes, Akiama Akin, thank you very much, sir, for your beautiful contribution. Adeshegun Adebayo, you misinformed the people. The vice president went to Ogoniland, went to Rivers, went to Delta, and told them, please, my brother, stop it. That wasn't Jonathan. The vice president went. So he may have initiated it, but the final name was done by the vice president. When we talk of recession, we are not talking of money in your pocket. That is not recession. So because you don't have money does not mean the country is under that of recession. Sorry. Your poverty is your poverty. We are talking of a conglomerate or something aggregate. So the fact that you have no money in your pocket does not mean Nigeria is in recession. The World Bank says we are out of recession. 2, people talk of electricity has gone down. What happened? People forget that during PDP, 160 billion, is it 16 billion or 160 billion? Go and ask the former speaker, Dimeji Bankole. He invited one of our letter writers to come, and he said he had malaria, he couldn't appear in the house. That was what was spent on electricity, and yesterday we had no light. So what are you talking of? People talk of this power as if we are not here when PDP ruled this country. $160 billion was spent by PDP to revamp electricity, and we did not have any single light bulb on. Is that Buhari? Give that amount of money to Buhari and you see what will happen. This is the point we are making. When we want to compare, let's compare very, very well. Talk of Kazim. Well, Kazim, security headsman and all that, corruption and all that. We are discussing very, very seriously. We are not discussing power one battle. What has happened? Even this so-called headman thing, go and check it very well. It's been blown out of proportion. I'm not saying there's not a problem. Everybody, I know of someone, don't forget that it is in this state. A former a senator was kidnapped by her friends, and they call him Fulani herdsmen. Up till now, nobody has told us the Fulani herdsmen who kidnapped her. I hope you know. I don't want to mention them in the interest of good neighborliness. A senator, she was kidnapped here in Ilaro somewhere in the Yewa. Listen, what happened? Was it herdsmen? Nobody has talked about it. We have quietly forgotten about it. So we are becoming too hypertensive about this Hellenist fragment. It's a problem we know, but it will soon be sorted out. Corruption. Oh, please, let's not talk about corruption again. Corruption is part of PDP and other parties. We all know that one. The president didn't even know the difference between corruption and stealing. Up to a point. That is a whole sitting president. Didn't know the difference between corruption and stealing. Now we know a president who knows the difference between corruption and stealing, and you are still talking about it. PDP was a synonym for euphemism for corrupt practices. That is why they are being caught. That is why they are being caught left, right, and center, and some of them cannot even talk. They agree. That list we are talking of, we all know. It's only that some people have not been added. We all know the list. It's not a new thing to us. Even my friend Arabambi knows that all of them are there. But when I say that, why don't you add Amechi? Why don't you add Koro? They didn't say, why don't you subtract this one? Nobody has said that. So, Tobi, let me just stop there.
All right, Comrade Arabambi.
Well, the fact remains that Dr. Nkom, you said give Buhari 160 billion naira, is going to do more.
This electricity.
This your administration. Dollars. It's not in dollars.
In dollars.
This your administration has borrowed 11 trillion in 3 years.
Naira.
11 trillion. You understand? Now, we don't know what you have used that money to do. That is one. And most of this money were not borrowed to develop human capacity at all. Bill Gates was in this country. He told our president that you must develop your people. APC is not developing Nigeria. It's not developing us. And that's why economy is being decimated every day. Now, before the National Assembly, just 2 weeks ago, the president submitted a 4.3 trillion naira request before the National Assembly. What does he want this money to do? He said he wants to clear obligations, which include obligations to pensioners, salaries, promotion area of civil servants, petroleum marketers, contractors, supplier debt, also unpaid power bill obligation from tariff reversal in 2014, export expansion grant, judgment debt. That is somehow very, very frivolous, judgment debt. Then reform to state government for project undertaken on behalf of the federal government. All these are frivolous. When you are asking National Assembly, you are not developing our people with this, because you are asking them that you want their money for recurrent expenditure. And for us, this thing is motivated because it is against the procurement law, which mandate government to borrow money only for capital expenditure, for capital project. But up to today, that thing is before the National Assembly. But I want to tell you, it's for the election. Because even the $1 billion that the president requested that they want to take, without the approval of the state, without the approval of the National Assembly, is corruption. Because what and what you want to buy, I saw some of your people, they came on television to say, no, you cannot disclose what you want to use our money to buy. You cannot disclose the number of jets you want to buy. So how do we know you buy there? And who are the people you want to use the jet to fight? The Boko Haram that have been decimated, the Boko Haram that have been demolished, the Boko Haram that have been defeated are the people you want to use 1 billion during election. Election is coming. So who are the people that will monitor the loan? Only APC. And you said the government is fighting corruption. Look at the S-men. Some of us have been stopped on the tarmac. When plane want to fly, they will be telling you that cows want to cross. Shehu Shagari way, you see most of these headmen, parading their cows. In Nigeria, S-men killed how many people in Benue State? Was the president there to compensate them when they were doing mass burial for them? Rather, your government was busy endorsing that president, for second term. Yeah, people were killed. Human beings were slaughtered in Benue State. They were killed in Adamawa. What are people? What is present administration doing about the SP? And we said you are borrowing money not to even do anything other than for frivolous matter. As far as we are concerned, the president must seek the approval of the National Assembly, the state that money belong to before such money can be sent. If not, we will term it as corruption.
All right, let's quickly check out the tweets now. This is from Ole Gab. This one says Buhari is too old to leave Nigeria. APC should be sacked. We don't need migrated politicians who are corrupt. Let new breeds take over. Adeda Adeyemi says what APC represents in Nigeria is failure. Dr. Nkom is being sentimental. I salute the Labour chairman. And colleague Gab once again says, I want to tell you that if Buhari refused to reconsider his stand on the re-election bid, he will be shown the way out, and that will be too shameful. Shomoye Desoji says, good morning. I just want your guests to know that the snake swallowing cash incident happened before this administration. It was just newly investigated. Secondly, PMB still have 8 months to work. Finally, did he consider the need for stability and governance for foreign investors? Colleague Gab once again, respect for a man that cannot keep to his own words and promises. No matter what he has done, he has watered them down with his lack of trust. Bora Paul tweeted this. Buhari never obeyed any court judgments. He has no respect for the rule of law. You can't compare Trump's health with Buhari's health. Trump has never been this sick. That's to use PMB's words. Dr. Nkom, we all know where you stand. Atole Gab, Nigerians protested on the street of London against his declaration. As you can see, people are tired of this man. It means Buhari lacks integrity. Surakat Abiodun says, APC government to me is a mockery of democracy, a government that condones indiscipline, corruption, nepotism, and the likes. Once you agree to do their biddings, it does not represent the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. Federal government should be neutral and apolitical in all aspects. This one from Zechariah Olubayo says, we as a nation are yet to take fighting corruption serious if cross-carpeting is always the way out. Colleague Gab says, the Bible says when the righteous man rules, the people rejoice, but when an unrighteous man rules, they cry, pains, lack, poverty, etc. rises. All right, we still have more tweets. I hope I'm not leaving some out. All right, this from Adbora Paul once again says the comrade was not interrupted by Dr. Nkom. Toby should be neutral also. Don't put the comrade in the middle. The fact is, why did not give us any good reason for recontesting because he has nothing to show. He has failed us totally. All right, but Paul's opinion. Adeyemi once again, President Buhari should please forget 2019 because he has failed woefully. How on earth will a promise failed government come back? It's never a game. Oluwaseyi Emmanuel says it is very good. We have both analysts on board this morning. Dr. Nkom is very factual, but the other man is not being sincere. He's analyzing on the psyche of total hatred for the APC and PNP. I would have loved if he's been realistic and factual. Bonapo once again says Dr. Nkom is taking this personal. The only reason the president gave is that the people want him back. That's why he wants to contest. Is that enough reason? Okay, that's a question to you. Today, Kafidipe says now that the 2019 permutations is heated with sentiment, coalitions are likely merged into SDP, founded by Oda Yaradua and associates to tackle PNB from the same Katsina state. In all, OBJ will comprise Tinubu, will negotiate. OBJ will compromise, Tinubu will negotiate, PNB will win the polls, and violence may break out. Zechariah Dubayo says we think APC would do it better. All right, and this one from Kulega once again. I want to recommend Dr. Nkom as the information minister. Funny. Zechariah Dubayo once again. Mr. President is somehow old to retire home after this first term, but declaring the second term, I just don't know why. Professor Agbola AAA says, I'm sorry. The gentlemen in the studio have been sentimental. One is pro and the other is anti-APC. Where do we strike the balance? Answer. All right, maybe you strike the balance for us, Professor Agbola. Zechariah Lubayo says, the main all APC members are all saints, which is totally wrong. And Zechariah Lubayo once again, PNB second term declaration, maybe that would be the time for him to fight hunger and unemployment. Professor Agbola once again says PNB has the right to recontest, but we the electorate will decide. I hope PNB will be honorable enough to make our vote count. Surakat Abiodun says President Buhari has done his best, but I believe there are better hands in the APC who could still pilot the affairs of this nation better than PNB. Let him go and rest and follow the path of Mandela. Abbe Fabio says, sir, is it true that the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow? Please take note. Zechariah Olubaya once again says the president has the right to go for a second term, but Nigerians also have the right to decide. Abdul Salam says my take is yes, PNB has the right to seek re-election just like every other good Nigerian. Nigeria cannot be fixed within 4 years. Is there any party called Labour Party? I see them as noisemakers, always seeking relevance without any sincerity of purpose. That's Professor Agbola AAA. That's for you to react to. Comrade Arabambi. Yamida Vinci says, President Muhammadu Buhari declares for second term. I expected this given the pervasiveness of the Messiah mentality, both in Mr. President in particular and the African societies in general. Nelson Mandela, that went for only a term, does he have two heads? Boris Yeltsin, that resigned due to ill health, does he have two heads? So if Nigerians beg President Buhari to commit genocide or suicide, he will commit it. Which Nigerians are begging him to come back? A president who doesn't know the IGP disobeyed him is not who Nigeria needs. A president who appoints dead people into position is not what Nigeria needs. A president who will take 6 months to appoint incompetent ministers is not what Nigeria needs. I campaigned and voted for President Buhari in 2007, 2011, and 2015, many times to the detriment of my neck. He has disappointed me with his re-election bid. He has missed the chance to be the best citizen Nigeria has ever had. It's a shame. Abdekole Kinde says PNB is free to recontest. It's left for us to, as Nigerians, to elect or reject him. I think the era of old order should be phased out for new younger generation with more innovative drive and rigor. Zechariah Olubaya says the man is too old for us. I don't think he should go for a second term at all. Nicola says, while I admit that President Buhari has the right to seek for a second term, however, he should quietly go home because the nation has regressed terribly under him. He has failed Nigerians woefully. Ambassador Abiola says, though PDP is rotten, I remember Afolabi, former interior minister, died during prosecution under OBJ. Okay. Yes.
Don't want us to even go to. You are correct that there's no Labour Party in Nigeria, in Ogun State. I think that would be the debate for another day. But for Ogun State, I want to come and tell you that Governor Moson, my brother, he had done so well. He's going to hand over to Labour Party come May 29. So I'm going to hand that one there. Then on the issue of various comments, let me tell you why the president is not justified. In the era of this disobedience to court, that is the most fundamental. I know that Dasuki have been granted bail over at least 6 different occasions. Even the ECOWAS court, they granted him bail. Ezra K was granted, judgment that they should release the man, they should bring him to court. That has also not been complied with. That is dangerous for our democracy. The president won an election, and his swearing was performed by a judge, whether chief judge of Nigeria or chief judge of his state. That is something that we need to build our democracy on the rule of law. But when a simple court order cannot be obeyed, it is dangerous for our democracy. And this president, is better for him not to seek re-election, because this thing will continue like that, and that will endanger our other democracy. During the days of Baba Obasanjo, Jonathan and Co., PDP governors lost at the Court of Appeal. Some of them lost at the Supreme Court. But I'm very sure that can never happen. You saw the national chairman of APC saying it is a must for them to win Ekiti. It is a must for them to win this. It is a must for them to win that, so that they can consolidate. What do they want to consolidate? They want to consolidate corruption. They want to consolidate on hunger. They want to consolidate on perfidy. They want to consolidate on institutional slavery. Perpetual debt. This government now has borrowed more than even what the incumbent administration, by the grace of God, will find it difficult to pay back, and there is nothing to show for it. Like I said, 3 million jobs are being lost every year. You and I were not the proponent of that information, but Nigeria Bureau of Statistics that said 3 million jobs. So what is this government doing about that? That means we are going to lose 12 million Nigerians out of their workplace, and yet you want that president to continue.
Yes, Comrade Abayomi said that someone said that to win Ekiti is a must. And I asked him, do you remember? Yes. Did you remember when the former speaker said, whether you like it or not, in this same Ekiti, whether you vote for us, we will win, because we are going to use the army. Have you forgotten?
Yeah, that's why
I'm coming. Number 2 is that, remember when a former head of state said it's a do or die affair, so it's not a new thing. We know PDP started it. The letter
so this is
I'm coming. Number 2, and that I like to also thank people who have phoned in, and people who have, yes, they are free to air their comments. And I believe that Buhari is the man. He's the man integrity. The man has the right pedigree to go on. Number 2 is that people in London are free to say what they are, because poor men don't live from Nigeria to London. Those are the people who are suffering from the Buhari tightening the screw about stealing over money. Some of them staying in London are no more having lifeline from Nigeria anymore. So what do you want me to say? That's why they are demonstrating. And anyway, I'm sure that it must have been 2 or 3 or 5, 50 people doing that. It wasn't reported in BBC, Al Jazeera, or that. So it wasn't an issue. I'm sure someone just put it in there to say, oh, Nigerians in London are this. Nigerians have called him Buhari. Buhari says it. And he's a man who is very truthful, that Nigerians have begged him to come back. Which one should I believe? Should I believe the one from PDP, or should I believe from Buhari? Of course I believe from Buhari. Nigerians have called him, and I happen to be one of them, that we want him to come back, to come and clean the dirty stable left behind by 16 perfidious years of some characters who still so shameless. They still want to come back again and steal. Formerly they used to steal in 100, now is in billions. Someone having 868. Fani Kayode collected 868 for what? Even Osun State, where it comes from, 866 billion is more than the budget of Osun State. What was it to do with it? Was it to plant corn or maize? Fani Kayode collected that. He said yes, he collected it. What are we talking about? Do you want that to continue again, Nigerians? The answer is no. That is money for our pension, money for our salaries, money to control road, money for antenatal care, money to pay for university, and what have you and what have you. That is the money they are stealing individually.
Okay, let's quickly run through some of the messages. Obviously, because of our time, we'll not be able to take a few more calls. But Shola Balogun is replying, Comrade Arabambi and our WhatsApp page here, saying, Comrade Arabambi should please tell us how many people have crossed to the APC and have had their corruption case quashed. All right. Then Barrister Kishola is replying, Shola Balogun, saying Amechi has not been arrested in spite of the white paper recommendations that indicted him in Rivers State. Instead, he was compensated to be a minister. Abanikoro was also another case study. All right. Wahid Qadri then says, did the court give him the time frame for the looters list to be released? He can release the list anytime he wishes. During the last administration, almost all the local government councils in Borno State were taken over by Boko Haram members. How many local government councils are under the siege of Boko Haram now? The present administration has a pass mark on the fight against Boko Haram. All right, let's have these short messages. Oluwade says, would Dr. Nkom prefer a bloated bank account to 2 Congo of Gary at home for a family of 10? Okay, and this one says, I'm happy when I heard the news of PMB recontesting in 2019. Yes, he's the right man. The rest are corrupt aspirants. Are they from Elega sending that? And this other one says, PMB promised job but ended up creating NYC Phase 2, whereby you work for 2 years and go back to square one again. We have so many messages. I'm sorry we will have to pick up random. Please, I crave your indulgence. Malam Ibro from Ulumuri says, may God continue to bless and protect Dr. Nkom for speaking my mind. He has made my day. 1 billion coalition cannot stop Buhari from winning the 2019 presidential election. All these forces are just wasting their time and resources. Buhari is a divine gift to Nigeria. All right. Ikechukwu Lisa says, first of all, let me sympathize with my fellow Nigerians for that heartbreaking news. Although he has a constitutional right to seek re-election, but does he deserve second term? It's left for we the electorate to decide that. Oof, so many messages this morning. Abdurrashid Okela says, I'll be glad if Comrade Arabambi could mention 3 youth that could match the integrity of PNB. Is it Fareka Ode or Alison Madweke? 2. Does he believe PDP looted and shared our resources for a good 16 years? And 3. Can he contest for an elective post on the platform of the PDP? All right. Thank you. Sunday from Ijai says, there is no politician in Nigeria that got portfolio that want to leave. Some are there since 1999. God help us. All right, that's Sunday from Ijai. I would allow you to react to this last set of contributions.
Yes, let me just quickly react. Yes, we talk of, if people talk of the white paper which convicted or whatever, yes, the Minister of Works, white paper from Wike who wanted to kill the man. Or just like telling me white paper from Fayoshe having a white paper on Fayemi, and those are black papers, not white papers. So you will look at what happened. Can you ever get any good thing from Wike about the minister of this thing? The answer is no. Just like Fayoshe. So we should be very, very careful.
Why can't good thing come from Fayoshe and Wike?
No. Fayoshe on Fayemi.
Yeah.
The white paper of Fayoshe on Fayemi.
Yeah.
I can't, just like a white paper on Fayoshe on Buhari.
But the one on Benue State on Suswan was acted upon when the president governor did a white paper on Gabriel Suswan. Do you know how many days AFCC incarcerated that man on the white paper? Why did your government acted on the one from?
No, they didn't act. EFCC acted.
EFCC acted.
Yes.
Okay, but EFCC was sleeping. No. Fayemi and
no, because it's not been shown. It been shown that it was tainted, it had no substance, it was full of sand and fury. That's why it was not acting. EFCC is not just to act on any paper.
Okay. Hold on.
Well,
Comrade Abayomi, your submission, your reaction.
Well, for us in Nigeria, that is we the real Nigeria, the voter that is going to vote APC out, the president declaration for second term is a declaration for hunger to continue, for joblessness to continue, for poverty to continue, perpetual indebtedness to continue, institutional safety to continue, static economy, retrogression, maladministration, malgovernance, and selected as a corruption. Nigeria should change their face and vote out this APC government for gross incompetence. Thank you.
Dr. Nkom, your final take.
Final take is that there's no vacancy as Aso Rock. We all know what the man is doing, and not only in Aso Rock, in Mosom. So please take your time, enjoy yourself, because the APC is coming in. Thank you very much.
All right, that's our show this morning. Thank you so much for being part of it. We've so much enjoyed you. I wish you could see this now. The gentlemen in the studio are shaking and hugging each other, but you won't see that. You don't know what's happening here. You think they are enemies, but they are just pushing different ideas, different opinions about what they think should move Nigeria forward, and that is very sacrosanct. Everyone is entitled to his or her own opinion, but it doesn't mean we should fight over it, because after all, this is our country, and we are the only hope that it has. All right, we want to appreciate you, Dr. Nkom. Thank you for finding time, and also really appreciate you too, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. Thank you for your time. Tomorrow is another day on the Daybreak Show. I am Tobi Joseph. Have a wonderful day.